Dustin Wolf may be the only reason the Flames are currently in the position that they're in and not swimming around the tank with the Sharks.
You're Locked On Flames, your daily podcast on the Calgary Flames. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Locked On Flames. As always, I am your host, Jess Belmosto, and thank you so much for joining me here today. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Today, we're going to be talking about Dustin Wolf because I feel like there was a lot of hesitation about him last season simply because of, a few starts that he had that were rough start to, I guess, his professional NHL career, and how he's bouncing back, as well as could he be a Calder candidate come the end of the season. Make sure you're subscribed to Locked On Flames wherever you get your podcasts, as well as YouTube. We're here for you Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, your team every day. And let's dive right into it. Dustin Wolf has played 8 games so far. It pretty much has been an even split. For a while, it was every other. And then before this Eastern Conference road trip, Huska started Vladar 2 in a row and then Wolf 2 in a row, and it's now back to Vladar. So will he start the next game on Friday? I don't know. We will have to wait and find out. But right now, Dustin Wolf has a .913 save percentage with a 2.84 goals against average, which honestly, for the way that the Flames have been playing, like, this is the polar opposite of their offensive metrics. And that's great because, everyone was kind of talking about Dustin Wolf at the end of last season saying, well, he's just too small to be an NHL goaltender. I don't know if he's going to make it. Well, newsflash, you need more than 18 games to declare yourself as an NHL player. You can't just expect someone to waltz in to an unfamiliar situation and grab it by the horns and take it for control. Dustin Wolf has succeeded at every level. Just takes a little bit of time to get acclimated to the most difficult level. So it's been great watching him, honestly. I enjoy how stable he is in net, compared to Jacob Markstrom, who was always kind of, I don't say always, that makes it sound very dramatic, but he had a tendency to leave the net and not tend the goal. And it's great to see that Dustin Wolf is aware of his duties as a goaltender. One thing I did notice was that he is 2.6 goals saved above expected. So basically, he's saving 2.5 more goals a game than they projected. This is according to Money Puck. And that puts him at about 17th in the league. I did it based on 5 games played because Dustin Wolf has not played 10. So it is obviously a smaller game sample size and a larger goaltender sample size. But the fact that he's playing above expectation in that manner, I think, is great. I think that shows that he has settled down and settled in, as opposed to last year where he was playing up and down. He wasn't getting consistent. Sure, he was getting consistent NHL time, but it wasn't in the way it is now. It wasn't consistently consistent. He was called up, obviously, after Vladar had season-ending surgery and was backing up Markstrom, but they still weren't going every other night. And that was just the nature of the beast. And I understand why Huska was doing that. But I do think that Dustin Wolf is very impressive. That is not anything, you know, outlandish to say. That's not a hot take. That is something that has been known since, around the time he was drafted. And it's great to see him taking these steps. And this is just the beginning of his NHL career. And I think that that is so exciting. One thing that I notice about his technique is he's fast. He's very fast. Quick reflexes, which obviously is very important to have as a goaltender. Um, but he always like squares up nicely as well, and he's mobile. Obviously not having that extra height to him is a disadvantage, but he works harder and makes it seem effortless, so you're not noticing that it's like a true disadvantage, if you want to call it that. And Dustin Wolf, I mean, he's settled in, and I think that this is something that people were nervous about, after 17, 18 starts last year. But again, you can't just write someone off after not even 20 games. We have to remember the turbulence of last season as well. There was a lot of movement, and especially, your defensive group was moved around quite a bit, and you didn't really know what was going on. And obviously this year there is a little bit more stability, I would say. And he's the greatest penalty killer on this team, I will say that. And the fact that he stands on his head night after night after night for this team makes me hope they are all getting him something very nice for the holidays, whether it be a Rolex or what do rich people put in their apartments? Like, not a couch. Well, I mean, they have couches, but like, what's a luxury item? Like a wine cooler, wine cellar? I don't know, but something very nice and luxurious, because he deserves it. And I think that if he was not playing with the Flames and down to the Wranglers, this would be a very, very different conversation. And coming up next, we are going to take a look at an ESPN article to dissect the Calder trophies with the Calder Trophy and Dustin Wolf's path to potentially earning one this season. And we will be right back after this. Nothing delivers comfort and joy quite like the unrivaled quality and taste of Omaha Steaks. This year, skip the holiday hustle and bustle and save 50% off gourmet gifts site wide at Omaha Steaks. Plus, get a $30 reward card when you shop early and score an extra $30 off with promo code NHL. With 5 generations of experience, they consistently deliver the world's best steak experience, and the gifting experts at Omaha Steaks have made it very easy to deliver the perfect gift with thoughtfully curated gift packages starting at $89.99. From legendary steaks to mouthwatering desserts and more, save 50% off site-wide at omahasteaks.com. Plus, our listeners get an extra $30 off with promo code NHL and a $30 reward card when you shop early. That's 50% off at omahasteaks.com and an extra $30 off with promo code NHL. Minimum purchase may apply. So, the World Series, the Super Bowl, the Olympics, the world's top athletes get to play in these top-level sporting events thanks to one thing: teamwork. And teamwork can also protect your financial legacy and your family's future. Select Quote's licensed insurance agents are the perfect teammates when shopping for customized, affordable life insurance. They can find you the right policy to keep your financial legacy safely in your family's hands. SelectQuote is one of America's leading insurance brokers with nearly 45 years of experience, helping over 2 million customers find over $700 billion in coverage. And and these policies are more affordable than you think. You could get coverage for up to $1 million as little as $20 per month. Get the right life insurance for you for less at selectquote.com/lockedonnhl. Go to selectquote.com/lockedonnhl to get started today. That's selectquote.com/lockedonnhl. Thanks everyone for hanging out with me today on Locked On Flames. Make sure you are subscribed wherever you get your podcasts, as well as YouTube. We're here for you Monday through Friday, 5 days a week. Your Calgary Flames every day. So this article from ESPN, Ryan Clark wrote it, was published earlier this afternoon, and I had a chance to read it while I was at work, and I thought that it would be a great discussion point because, Dustin Wolf has had quite the impressive resume to get here. But with the NHL's, I don't bias towards skaters for the Calder Trophy, is there even a fair shot for Dustin Wolf to be a Calder Trophy winner? Let's see. So, is he really that good? Can a smaller goalie be trusted when every team wants a bigger option in net? These are just some of the questions he's asked himself. Um, Wolf now faces another question. Could he or someone else in this season's rookie class become the first goalie in more than a decade to win a Calder Trophy? I had no idea, Wolf said, on the 15-year gap since the last Calder winning trophy. But you know what? My job is to try to stop as many pucks as possible and as many pucks as I can and try to help the team win games. If the extra stuff comes along with that, it's just an extra bonus. Steve Mason was the last goaltender to win the NHL's Rookie of the Year in the 2008-2009 season. He played a crucial role in the Columbus Blue Jackets playoff berth that year, and there have been two goalies since then that have finished second in voting, and that's Jordan Binnington and Stuart Skinner. The award heavily leans towards the forwards and the skaters. It's so 62 forwards have won the award. Just 16 goalies have won since since it was introduced in the 1932 to 33 season. Yet the current 15-year drought since Mason won is the longest. That is a very long time. That's like a sophomore in high school, basically. But it's crazy to me that, like, Jake Ottinger, I mean, I forget who was part of that rookie class, to be very fair, but, like, Jake Ottinger, he wasn't considered, like, I feel like he had a fantastic rookie year, and the fact that, no goalie has won it in 15 years when we have seen the resurgence and just, like, this renaissance of fantastic goaltenders, like, even when they start in the season, start in the, they might start slow, but, like, their full rookie campaign ends up being great. And I think that that's the situation here for Dustin Wolf. And he is making a great case for himself. And, like, last year, it was very obvious that it was going to Connor Bedard. And this year it kind of feels like, okay, like, obviously it's going to go to Macklin Celebrini. But, like, Dustin Wolf has a very strong case for himself so far this season, which we had just talked about. But ESPN spoke to an agent with clients who have won the Calder or who were finalists, along with former NHL goaltender Andrew Raycroft, um, when discussing the further parts of this. I think a lot of it has to do with what you're going up against. That's only going to make it harder for a goalie. Everybody right now is anticipating players like Celebrini, Michkov, Will Smith. These high-end guys have been hyped to the NHL for good reasons because they're hockey players. You talk about those guys and you bring Dustin Wolf into the conversation, and it's like, how much better does Dustin Wolf have to be? Following hockey prospects isn't like football recruiting. Collegiate and junior hockey broadcasts aren't easily accessible, and it's even more difficult to watch prospects playing in Europe. In contrast, Washington Commanders quarterback Jaden Daniels has received attention since getting his first scholarship in 2017 as a 16-year-old. Yeah, no, I think that's um I understand, but I would argue that the goalies have a pretty tough job too, and a 913 save percentage through 8 games with the defense that is playing in front of him is a very that is an accomplishment. And obviously this award isn't handed out 10 games into the season, but he has played great. And I believe that he's going to continue to play great. And we're looking at last year's finalists with Connor Bedard and Brock Faber, and then New Jersey Devils defenseman Luke Hughes. To me, there's such a big drop off there. Luke Hughes is still struggling, so I don't really understand how he was a finalist, but Connor Zary, justice for him. I think that, you know, it's just it feels easy to give it to like a forward. And that's just the way it is, but I'm kind of hoping that this year something changes. I think that, yes, you have stellar talent like Macklin Celebrini, like, you know, trying Michkov and Dustin Wolf, but like you have to have like I don't know. There has to be a better way. And like it's almost like, do goalies deserve their own category since they're often snubbed from this conversation? I don't know. That's something to consider. But coming up next, we're going to wrap up the show with why last night's game against the Canucks was pretty much a scheduled loss, and we will be right back after this. FanDuel has everything you need to win big, and get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. So if you're feeling that Austin Matthews is going to score a goal, okay, great. How about an anytime Nazem Kadri goal? What about a Dustin Wolf shutout? Is that something? Just visit fanduel.com to join today, and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's fanduel.com. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with me today on Locked On Flames. You can follow me on Blue Sky or Twitter at Jess Belmosto. I am now on both platforms, so happy to share some more posts and knowledge and thoughts with y'all. More pictures of my cat. Love my kitty cat. But last night's game against the Canucks, it was great that the Flames scored first. Great. But the thing is, you have to stop the other team from scoring or score more than them. That's kind of the whole gist of a hockey game. And I get it. 5 games in 8 days in 5 different cities, 3 time zones. Like, why would the Flames win that game? That if any team, I don't care how good of a team you are, to me, that is a scheduled loss. And if you win, that's great, but you probably shouldn't have. Obviously that is a lot. And I don't know how they do it because obviously you're playing these uh exhausting games. You're doing your training. Sure, you get to fly first class, but that doesn't, or not first class, you get to fly privately rather. And yeah, you get those amenities, but you literally aren't immune to jet lag or the normal like wear and tear on your body, plus what you put out during, the energy you use during games. Like, of course, your gas tank is going to be empty. Are you kidding me? Or close to it. You're running on fumes at that point. And, I think a lot of us can relate to that, right? Like when you have worked a long, long week, maybe you picked up extra hours, or maybe, like I know when I worked retail, I was working like 9 out of 12 days sometimes, and it was brutal. And that's what's going on here. And that's just, I didn't have to travel. I didn't have to play hockey. I was just on my feet all day. So I do I don't want to say sympathize because that makes it sound like they like need sympathy, but like I think everyone should understand why they lost that game. And the Canucks are, obviously that's who the Flames opened the season against, and we know how hard of a fight they put up and how much harder of a fight the Flames fought back. And unfortunately, it just wasn't enough last night, and that's fine. I don't want to say like I don't care because obviously I do like to watch winning hockey, but it's fine. It's fine. The Flames have 2 days off now before they play the Predators, who have just been a stinker of a team, which is so surprising to me because, and I think everyone else too, because they obviously went out and got some big free agent acquisitions this summer, and everyone, including myself, kind of pegged them as Stanley Cup favorites. And now they just put their highly touted prospect, or once highly touted prospect, Dante Fabro, on waivers, and he was claimed by Columbus. So, I think that that's crazy. I always thought that the Predators were kind of ahead of the Flames in terms of their rebuild, especially because they could kind of like play better hockey and just, they have UC Saros. But I don't know, it kind of just feels like they're all in the same spot right now, especially with those old players that they signed who are going to be on the books for a long time. Like, what are you doing? It feels, I hope the Flames win. That would be nice. But also, like, I, I feel like the Predators have a very big fire lit under them. And I was watching the Amazon Prime series uh, earlier this week about how, that canceled U2 trip was kind of something that sparked them. And is there something that needs to happen here to get them going? I wish the Flames kind of operated like that. I mean, what are you gonna do? Oh, you can't go out to Cowboys. Oh no, can't go out there. They're all like, I don't really think any of them would want to be there in the first place, but it's interesting to see how different teams operate. And I read a tweet earlier today that like has stuck with me all day. Um, Dustin Wolf is keeping the negative attention off of Huska. Special teams are underperforming. The offense is underperforming, and the defense is severely underperforming. So Dustin Wolf is kind of doing the "hey, look over here" dance, while everyone else is kind of just circling the drain and being horrible and not okay. Being horrible is like that's very exaggerative. But they're just not playing up to standard, and I don't want to say they're getting away with it, but they're certainly not seeing anything that is making me have much faith in Ryan Huska's line making decisions. Obviously there really is only so much you can do with the talent any team has, but where is the accountability for any and all players? And I mean that. I don't care if you're making $10 million or if you're making the league minimum. Like, if you mess up, you need to be held accountable. You have to nip these bad habits in the bud. Otherwise, it sends a message to the teammates and the locker room. Like, okay, if he can get away with it, so can I. And then what happens if you squash it in one person and not another, So I'm really looking forward to this game on Friday. I think it'll be interesting to see how the Flames, like literally a mid-off, it's going to be two mediocre teams playing each other. I want more for the Flames. I do. And I think that this is kind of, where we're taking our lumps. And it's just the beginning. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with me today on Locked On Flames. I hope you all have had a fantastic week so far. Make sure you're subscribed to the show wherever you get your podcasts, as well as YouTube. We're here for you Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, your Calgary Flames every day. And I will see you tomorrow. Please remember to stay safe, stay warm, stay dry, stay cool, stay hydrated, and remember to be kind.